Why should you use a design sprint for your website project? Well, technically, you have many options how to approach this, but I personally think that a design sprint is really a way to go, and I'm here to tell you why. When we stumbled upon this beautiful sort of, let's say blue book, kind of like, I don't know, what's the color here? It's like it's not teal, it's baby blue maybe. Baby blue? Would that be a baby blue, guys? Hello? Anyone? We have this beautiful blue book by Jake Knapp, and it tells you all about sprint, a design sprint to be precise. So it says how to solve big problems and test new ideas in just 5 days. And that really resonated with me, because when I think of a web design project, I immediately feel pain. And it's not right, you know. It just doesn't feel right. I mean, web design is it's all about creativity, and creativity is fun. So why is it not fun to build a website, to design a website? Well, because the system is wrong. The system is to blame. But anyway, let's not get ahead of ourselves. When we stumbled upon this beautiful blue book, it immediately took over our entire company. And we loved every single bit of it. And so have our clients. And I think you'll like it too. Now, if you watched our channel for a while, you will know what the design sprint is. But for those who've just joined, here's a short of it. A design sprint is a series of time-boxed workshops. Well, it says here in just 5 days, but it depends on which version of the design sprint you are doing. But it's effectively a series of workshops where everyone involved in the project gets an equal opportunity to shape the product. I won't go into a detail of every exercise. We will cover those in separate videos in the future, or if you're really impatient, you can find plenty of those videos and blog articles, or even, well, for the third time, books that can tell you all about them. But we will do so as well, just not now, in the future. Please be patient. Now, many of you who worked on a website project in the past will surely agree that, well, things often go wrong. They go astray. And to be honest, it's not the team that's the problem. It's not the team that's lacking any expertise. It is the system that they decided to follow that is to blame. I realized that at first it doesn't look gloomy at all. Everyone is happy, everyone's excited. You have your deadlines, right? You have your plan, your scope of the project, and it's full steam ahead until the first hiccup happened, and then the next one, and the next one, and it just mounts up to this unbearable weight on everyone's shoulders until people just crack and can't bear it anymore, and everyone's just happy as soon as it's over. And that's at least my experience in web design industry. Don't do it now, but I strongly recommend you watched a replay of a webinar that I hosted a couple of months ago. It's uploaded to our channel. Here is the link somewhere. I don't know actually how does YouTube work now. Wait, where do you see me on your screen? So it's here. I think the link should be somewhere here. Well, anyway, you'll find it. You're a clever one. It goes more in the detail of the so-called waterfall method and its downfalls. And I think when you watched it, you will understand where I'm coming from and why I really, we as a company, we were really on the lookout for something new, for something fresh and more productive, effective, and we found it. Book for the fourth time? Nah, let's leave it. That's fine. You know how it looks now. First of all, the biggest advantage. It keeps the conversation structured. The discussion is tangible. So, many of you have definitely experienced meetings without agenda, or where people are lazy, they sit back and they expect everyone else to be the creative ones. Tell me, how did that work out for you? It's probably a waste of time, right? But what's more troubling is when it comes to the exchange of opinions, and when it comes to saying it out loud, what you think in that particular meeting, it's those who are, well, who perfected sales pitch, or who are more maybe outgoing, more extrovertic. They tend to overpower those more shy people in the group, those introverted members of the group, and therefore, well, they basically kill any ideas that the other side of the table might have had. And funnily enough, it's those quiet individuals that often hold really, really good ideas, but they don't get a chance to express them. And Design Sprint doesn't let anyone to be silenced and lets everyone to raise their voice, which is great. In fact, during a design sprint, there's very little conversation going, thanks to the so-called concept of working together alone. Yes, this is one phrase, working together alone. We keep any arguments out of the window, right? And democratically, we vote on ideas to ensure a steady progress in the project. Simple as that. Second point, it doesn't rely on an individual, which is kind of like a follow-up to the first point. In our case, workshops take place on Fridays, Mondays, and Tuesdays. Sorry, I had to little brain fart. So it's only natural that some people might not be at their best. You know, weekends, yes. When it comes to the workshop, not everyone might feel as creative as they could have been, and they might feel a little bit under the weather, which is predictable at this point. What's good about the design sprint, you really don't need creativity to get through all the exercises, and such individuals, which is very important, won't undermine the final outcome of the sprint. It's super important to state that, to reiterate that, because people are not used to working in creative environment, and that's fine. It's really okay. The sprint itself, it will give you a framework to produce solutions that are spot on, regardless of your state of mind, let's say. On Fridays, we hold a workshop called the Alignment Workshop. And the reason why we call it that is because we align everyone's expectations. And that's a third reason why you should use a design sprint. There's a whole array of things that go into building a website, and each of them require a specific skill set. I mean, to name a few, you have sales, you have marketing, you have operations, user experience, you have user interface design, you have development, obviously, you have search engine optimization. The list goes on. And every individual invited to advise on a website, well, they will have personal preferences. They will have needs and expectations toward that website. It's just imperative that we listen to them and consider their suggestions. After all, there are experts at what they do. See, in a normal scenario, well, no, let's not call it normal, because it's not normal. Let's call it an unhealthy scenario, which is most cases every website built, which is happening right now in this minute. Usually, these inputs from individuals in the group, they are the culprit of all the problems, and they result in something called feedback loop. And if you haven't experienced a feedback loop, I don't wish it upon you. It's a terrible place to be. It really is. It's going back and forth infinitely on things that don't matter. Or at least that's what one side of the conflict thinks, whereas the other one insists on those things. In a design sprint, we appreciate them, those inputs, and we use them to fuel the final product. And it's a great difference from everyone arguing about what's best, to everyone agreeing on a single solution that takes the knowledge of everyone in the group and sort of collects them together, puts them together to produce a website. Fantastic. It's really great. Next on the list is it helps you to validate your idea with real users. Furthermore, it's a common misconception that one's habits are true for the most. Yes, I'm looking at you. Everyone does that. So do you. So naturally, we lean towards solutions that are in line with our thinking. It's simple. It's because they work for us, so they must work for everyone else, right? Or at least the majority of everyone else. Instead of arguing about the taste, we validate everyone's ideas with a real audience that resembles the end product recipients. And it's that simple. I mean, you tell me what you think. I put it to the test, and if people who are supposed to use that idea and whatever the outcome is, they agree with you, there you go. You just made a great contribution to the project. If those people don't like it, well, they don't like it. And we saved everyone time and money. During those interviews, you may call them, we ask a lot of questions just to weed out underperforming solutions and to focus on those with the biggest impact potential. And this one you'll like a lot. It can save you money. Oh yes, it can, definitely. As I might have mentioned, yes, because I'm not sure, a typical production cycle, it looks like this, right? So you have this brief, which consists of all the information describing the website. Then you have design, which is a phase where you come up with design options, right? The visuals. Then you have development, where you actually code those visuals. And then you finally launch it, which means you effectively make the website publicly available, right? And for the simplicity of the example, I assume that the development consists of testing. Looking at the diagram, can you tell at which point you know if the website performs as expected? I mean, obviously in terms of usability, accessibility, or conversion rate, let's say, right? Because these are quite important topics. To be honest, the only place I can think of, it's after the launch. It's only after the launch you will have the data available to you to judge whether the website was a success or not. In my humble opinion, I think it's quite late in the process, considering a huge time and money of investment that everyone has made this far. Maybe I'm reaching a bit right now, but it doesn't get any closer to gambling. Would you agree? And there comes our beloved design sprint, which lets you know if the concept of a website survives in the trenches. And it does so very early on. If you ask yourself this question, how soon would you rather know if your idea is deemed for failure? If your answer is as soon as possible, then a design sprint is should be definitely a choice for your next project. Any project. Actually, it's not just for websites. I mean, it's a framework to build products. So whatever you're trying to invent, create, produce, a design sprint can help and save you. Exactly. And finally, and something that I don't think many people appreciate, especially if you're not tech savvy, if you don't really understand how websites are built, this one might really, go under the radar, as one might say. I think that's how we say it, right? Sorry, my English is only getting better day by day, but it's a slow process. I'm getting there. Trust me, all right? Doing my best, at least. Anyway, it results in a prototype which can be effortlessly, that's the keyword, effortlessly moved to development, to production stage. If you're a part of the production team, like an agency or a team of developers, designers, and someone close to the building of a website, right? The actual fact of producing a website, the transition between the design and the development phase brings shivers to many. Trust me. and what's worse, it's a pivotal point for any web design project, yet it remains underappreciated very often. You may ask why. Well, the answer is quite simple. It's because there is this desynchronization between a developer and a designer, or a development team, a design team. Oftentimes, the developer stays out of any decision-making meetings and the visualization process. Needless to say, the poor guy will have so many questions and perhaps might point out so many technical limitations that the designing team had no idea about, that the project goes back to the drawing board and therefore delays the entire endeavor, right? Like literally, it goes back to the drawing board. And once you make a change, you need to send it back to the client for approval. And no, don't get me started. No, calm down, Thomas, calm down. And so there comes a design sprint into the picture. So a design sprint promotes collaboration. And that's really the key. So during any workshops, designers and developers, among many other people, work together towards a common goal. And thanks to that, everyone can stay up to speed and understands the reasoning behind any decision that is made around the website. So by the end of a design sprint, we have a fully working and tested prototype of a website, which was made through a team's effort. And there's no wonder that as a result, the production phase, the development phase, no longer feels, well, detached. That's all from me. Thank you so much for watching. And I would really, really like to hear your thoughts on this. And I mean, perhaps you think that design sprints are not really the best way forward for your company. If so, tell me why. Use the comment section, drop me a line. I'll be very happy to talk to you and discuss your statement. Please remember that all subscriptions and likes under this video help us grow as a channel and help us build that fantastic community of people interested in web design and perhaps clients, people who are looking for web design services. And let's come together right now. If one song might have said that, it would be a good song if it did. So if you enjoyed this video, please engage with it one way or another, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you so much. Until then, bye bye.